Dear BORTOPRA viewers, welcome to BORTOPRA TV. This is the #1 platform where refugee matters are raised and discussed. Today we have a chance to have a guest that you see in front of your screens. He is a guest from Uganda. He was here in Kenya for a conference, if I can say. It was a 3 days consecutive conference, and we wish to talk to him so that he can share with us about their work, his work or their work as a team back in Uganda. And also we have heard that there is something you will talk about it, that you represent refugees at regional level. Before we go deep, I would like to give you the time. You introduce. I think you are the best guy to introduce yourself to our audience. Then from there we can start. It's a conversation, just so you can introduce yourself.
Thank you so much for welcoming me to the platform today.
Yeah.
I'm called Simon Marot Testimony. I'm the team lead at the African Youth Action Network, an NGO that is a refugee-led organization that is based in Uganda. I also serve as the advocacy coordinator at the Global Refugee Youth Network, a refugee-led group that works with the young people across around the world to actually address challenges and response to challenges that are in their own communities. So we work with them to actually through capacity building programs. We also fund them. We also train them to actually advocate for their own for their own communities, using their own voices, using their own experiences. So I'm glad to be here today. Thank you so much.
You are here in Kenya. So what actually brought you here in Kenya, or were here in Kenya on which mandate, in short?
So I came to Kenya on Sunday. On Monday and Tuesday, of course I serve as a member of the steering committee for the Refugee Self-Reliance Initiative. So I came to Kenya on Sunday to actually attend the Refugee Self-Reliance Initiative steering committee meeting, which happened on Tuesday and Monday this week.
Yeah.
And then I also got an invitation to actually attend the Railo convening, which is happening here in Kenya, which is really like one of its kind, I would say. And I'm so glad that I actually took part in this meeting, because I've learned a lot about what the Railos in Kenya are doing, and also the amazing work that is happening in this wonderful country.
Okay, once you arrived here, you get an invitation to witness this convenient meeting. What can you say that you've had different from the RLOs in Uganda, and which can you say it's common for both RLOs here in Kenya and also in Uganda?
Well, I think RLO's work is really the same across the region, whether it's in Kenya or it's in Uganda. It's almost the same. It's the same practice. The same challenges that we're facing in Uganda are also the same challenges that RLOs in Kenya are also facing, be it registration, be it with the documentation being recognized, be it even access to opportunities. It is the same challenge that people are actually facing there. And also like the kind of work that we also do, where you say, okay, they're really more activity-based. Like people are really focusing on activities when it comes to supporting of RLOs. So you'll find in Kenya or whether it's Uganda, you'll find a lot of RLOs are actually working, but they're only implementing activities, and most of them are just volunteers. So I thought it was only in Uganda, but I also came and found it here in Kenya. And then also RLOs come into existence because of I would say they are responding to challenges that they have in their own communities. So they are looking at if someone see maybe a challenge in their community, they try to address that challenge in their community. That's how they come up to maybe form a community-based organization or a refugee-led organization. That's how RLOs actually come, and it's the same story also that I found here. And then you will find that most RLOs are also into craft making. They are also looking at how do they make their communities to be self-reliant. How do they also make their community to advocate for their challenges? How do they refer some of their community members to spaces where they can actually be able to actually have some of their problems solved? So I think I would say
almost it's common. What they go through and what they are doing, it's almost common.
Exactly. What they go through, what they do, their objectives, even how they name their own groups, it's almost the same thing.
So as you, Simon from Uganda, and also you have at least you have got the picture of RLOs here in Kenya. So how do you try to advocate that on a regional level with that that you represent? You say you are the
advocacy coordinator at the Global Refugee Youth Network.
So how do you try to advocate that level so that these barriers and obstacles at least can be removed, so that refugee-led organizations and even refugees in the host countries can live like any normal human being?
Well, you see, with the with advocacy, it's a long-term process. It's a long-term thing. And what we do with the Global Refugee Youth Network is that we look at the ILOs and we see they have different unique challenges. We know there are some that are still developing. There are some that actually have been in the space for a long time now, a good time. And we also know like the different capacity. So what we did in 2021 was to first roll out a survey to actually get feedback from the ILOs themselves. What is the challenge that they're actually facing in their communities, and how do they think that some of these challenges can actually be addressed in their communities? And the answers that we were getting was, one, we really need funding. That I think stood out so well. But you know what, we have the capacity, we have been trained, we are getting these opportunities to be trained, but we really don't have the fund to even come and put into practice the skills that we have actually acquired. So what we did was, okay, we're going to be funding you. But then now when we started funding, we found out there are groups that even find it very hard for them to register, whether be it here in Kenya, be it in Uganda, be it in Zimbabwe, or in Thailand, in South Africa, because there are even countries where for you even to be a refugee, it's like a crime, at least here in Kenya. Because with our work, we have really got experience with
people in other countries.
In other countries, in other regions, in other continents. So you'll find other laws, or maybe like refugee youth-led groups that are in South America. They're not maybe developed, so like the one in East Africa. You will find that guys in Southern Africa are also not like those in East Africa. Guys in Asia Pacific are not like the guys in Latin America or in Middle East. So you'll find these different background and also challenges. So we now try to look at our funding. How do we make sure that we can customize it so that it's accessible by groups that are even registered and those that are even not registered. So even right now, if the funding, the green funding is outside. If you apply, as long as you have an idea and you are in a group, you have an idea that is really going to address the challenge that you have in your own community, we make sure that we actually fund you, regardless of whether you are registered or unregistered, because we want to make sure that the flow is actually.
So you don't make things complicated, like because you understand your people and the challenges they go through. You try to ease the difficulties. So to them to get access to grants.
Exactly. So even where it is very hard for us to even reach out to you, we work with you to make sure that you are able to actually address or maybe do basic on how you can even be able to actually write a very good proposal, how you can even respond to some of these questions that we asked from you. So we first take you through a series of how you can even answer the green questions. We train you on how you can apply for our proposal. Once you get the funding, we also train you on how you can implement it, and also how you can report, and then train you on how you can actually network. And then we only don't end there. We also make sure that we connect you to spaces where you can speak about challenges that you face in your community, where you can also speak about, you speak with other peers or other refugee groups that are in different countries.
It's like, if I can add, you take an RLO from the baby level to a grown, mature
That's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to do. And we hope maybe we will actually succeed. So what we do is we don't want you to depend on the green funding. We want to use that green funding as a basis for you to grow, as a basis for you to actually achieve more funding, as a basis for you to legalize, as a basis for you to actually stabilize and actually know how you can apply, know which document you need, know how you can even open a bank account, know how you can even write a project proposal, know how you can respond to some of these questions. So we do mentor you, and we also give, and make sure that we connect you to spaces where you can speak about your group, where you can speak about what your skills are, where you can speak about what you guys do in your own programs.
So I would like to ask you about how can you picture the collaboration between NGOs or international organizations in Uganda that work in the refugee space and also the refugee-led organization in Uganda? Is there any collaboration? Is it better? Is it good? How can you picture that collaboration between those organizations?
Well, so Uganda is a big country,
Yes.
and it has over 30 refugee settlements.
Yes.
And in this 30 refugee settlement, we have over 400 or 500 even that are registered CVOs and refugee-led organizations.
Yes.
Some are small, some have got funding, some actually get direct funding from donors, some don't even have indirect funding. So, like during the COVID-19, I will give you an example. I will reply to that during an example. So we were locked down in Kampala. And there was a RILO that was a refugee-led group that was based in Chiradongo. There was another group that was based in a division that is in Kampala that we are not actually operating in. And then there was also another group that was based in a place called Chagatu Refugee Settlement. So we got funding from a partner that is based in Canada. So when this partner came and gave us the money, gave us the funding to support refugee groups during the lockdown, we were not able to move because we didn't have money. We didn't have money to buy a car. We didn't even have all these means to move as a refugee-led group. What we did was we transferred the money to a group that is based in Chaka. We transferred money to a group that is based in a different division in Kampala, and also transferred money to a group that is based in Chiradongo Refugee Settlement to make sure that we only don't keep the money ourselves, but we make sure that these people actually are able to get the money, they are able to actually implement it in their own community.
Yeah.
So that gives you one picture of the collaboration that we are already establishing. It is still very weak, but we are trying to actually address it. We are looking at ways of how we can actually strengthen it. So we do have now what we call a refugee-led organization network in Uganda,
Yes.
which has over about 200 registered members, organizations. But we are trying to strengthen it such that it is representative, that's one, such that it is accountable to the RILOs that they are actually heading,
Yes.
such that it does not even compete with the RILOs when it comes to implementation
Yes.
of some of those projects, or maybe applying for a grant of 5,000. We don't want the refugee-led organization network to also compete with the groups that are still very small that need to also be the one considered for some of this funding. So what we are doing is that right now we have established committee in the different regions. In Southwest, we have a committee of 7 people. In Central, we are going to make another committee of 7 people. And in in West Nile, in Uganda, there is also a committee of 7 people. So we want these committees to sit in their own region, bring the challenges that those regions groups are actually facing, bring it to Kampala. Guys in Southwest, guys in Kampala, and then they come and meet and then share what will be the way forward. How do we ensure that the groups are actually given the required attention? So right now, the group is still stabilizing on how to even communicate to members. It's also stabilizing on how to actually recruit members, and also how to maintain the members that are already existing in the network. So it's still a work in progress, but we hope maybe with time there will be like stronger collaboration. But the other thing now I can also say about collaboration is that we really do share a lot of information. We do share a lot of opportunities among ourselves right now. I will give an example. Like in 2022, there was a group that actually came, even for some of our funding to come in. It was from refugees that were in Uganda that recommended the fund and said, you know what, can you go and speak to the African Youth Action Network? Can you go and speak to this group? Can you go and speak to this group? Can you go and speak to this group? So we do these referrals, and to me, I think that is like a very good way of collaborating as groups.
Does in the refugee-led organization in Uganda try to include the locals in their teams so that they work together? Because there is no refugee without a host, and there is a host is a host of a refugee, so they should work hand in hand or work together. Is there such unity or integration at that level?
Yeah. So the policy in Uganda is, if you are having a project or a program, 60% will go to refugees, 40% goes to the host community. That's the policy.
It's in the policy.
It is in the policy, in the refugee policy. So what we also do is, even in our groups, we work hand in hand with the host communities, because we look at ourselves as people that everyone is a candidate value to be a refugee. Everyone can be a refugee anytime. So even if you are in a host country, you're facing the same challenges. The same challenge that the youth which are refugees are facing is the same challenge that the hosts who are Ugandan are also facing. So what we do is we try to come together and actually form these groups together. I'll give an example, the African Youth Action Network.
Yes.
We have, like from the start, we have been working with the Ugandans from the start. They have been the one doing the training. They have even been the one doing the the registration process. They have been the one taking us to offices, introducing us to offices. So it's really very good for us to work with host communities because there are information that they know that you have no idea about. In 2019, there was a host community group that was in the same division that we're actually operating in.
Yes.
What they did was we told them we were bringing like 4 young people from the refugee camp to be trained in craft making, making sandals and all those things. And they said, okay, can you bring them? Just buy for them the requirement. We will train them for free.
Okay.
So they train 4 young people for free for 4 months without any single coin. We do not pay any single coin. So that gives you like an idea of
how hosts are also embracing to host the refugees.
Exactly.
So I know time is not on our side, and there are a lot of engagement after this. I would like to ask you maybe the last question about the information. I know and I believe myself that information is power, and here in Kenya have seen like a little bit of a gap where refugee actors in the refugee space are not encouraged to give information to the refugee. I'm saying it in aspect of the media. The role of the media to spread the information faster and to a wider range. So, what's your take? First of all, what's your take on refugees accessing information? Do you think they have right to information? What can be done so that they can access information of what any program, any policies, any activities that is designed to come back to them, so they can know it before without waiting, or any programs or activity that a certain organization has implemented, they can just come and tell us we have done this, so that even the refugee can give feedback. Do you believe there should be a space for media to be between refugees and the actors in the refugee space?
Well, when you talk about information, there are really so different types of information.
Yes.
And there is an information that you can acquire or get to know because you want to help your community. There is also an information that you really want to know so that you educate yourself and say, you know what, okay, I need to actually do better next time. Then there is also an information that you want to know because you want to go and actually help maybe spread it in your own communities.
Yes.
So if you can break that down, it will be very okay. Then 2 is that media is not the problem. You get it? Because me, I can even say, after even like doing the interview with me, I can tell you not to publish it. And you will, because you are a media personality that has been trained, as a professional, if someone says no to something, and then they have not consent to it. You get it?
Yeah.
So the refugees have the rights to actually say no or say yes to maybe attend or take some of these interviews. But then most time in Africa, what we do is that when you invite maybe a refugee group or a refugee leader or a refugee community leader or just a refugee to some of these spaces, what we try to do is to just put them on the spot. Say you want them to actually say what is not working or what the government is not doing or what the partners are not doing, which put them into a risk. So that when you do that, they will fear you. They will not even be able to open up. But when you are telling them, okay, can you tell us what your views are or what your ideas are on a different topic, they will be able to clearly stipulate what they really want to see. Coming back to partners giving information or giving information to refugees, it is the right for refugees to actually get information. And because it is when they get the information, that's when they will actually get to know how they can change their things, how they can ever change their thinkings. You see, I used to complain a lot. I would say I used to complain a lot before 2016, 2017. Why are things not happening? How are things not happening? This thing should be happening. Office of the Prime Minister in Uganda should be doing this. OPM should be doing this. UNHCR should be doing this. These guys, we are calling them. They are not picking our calls and all those stuff. But one day I was invited into a forum where we have embassies, where we have the UNHCR guys, we have the funders and all those stuff. And then I looked into how budgeting is done inside UNHCR. So a donor will come and say, you know what, we're giving UNHCR this amount of money. Or we are giving you guys this amount of money. And do only specifically. It's going to be to support the refugees in Congo. It's going to support the refugees in this place. Or maybe in Arua or in Rhino Camp. You have no right to say, no, we have like an influx in this area. Let's put the money, let's channel it that right. You get it? But for a refugee who is suffering, they will not see. They will only hear that, okay, this donor has given this amount of money. So they should be giving us this money. Why are they not giving us the money? They are eating our money and all that stuff.
Yeah,
but
the
that
money was to another
it is
side.
restricted. You get it? So you will not see that the money is restricted. You only see that the money was given by this. They have even announced it online, but you don't know it is restricted. You get it? That is now one of the biggest problems that refugees really need to actually get into to know. But if refugees actually got to know that, you know what, the problem is not actually the people that are serving us. That the problem actually is not even the people that are giving us the money. That the problem is that we don't have the information. Then they will be able to actually educate themselves. They will be able to educate their community. They will even be able to approach some of these challenges in a very good manner. Not just attacking, not just saying this and that and all that stuff. So having access to some of these spaces is very good. It's very good for everyone, very good for people to even lower their expectation. Because I've been moving outside. I've been moving to Geneva, I've gone to Germany, I've gone to the US, I've gone to most of these spaces. Right now, if someone tells me, can you resettle? I'll tell you no.
You don't have the capacity.
I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
Even if it is given to me, I will not go.
Yeah.
Why? Because I've seen what life is like there. If you cannot make things work in this continent, if you cannot make things work in this continent, and then there is no way that you'll make it work outside. But how many people have such kind of information? How many people even right now as we're speaking are outside? There are young people that are outside there. They are waiting to go. They are saying, no, I cannot do anything in Kenya. After all, I'm just here temporarily. I'm going to be resettled one day. Everyone has that mindset. Yeah. Everyone wants to go. Everyone wants to resettle. No one wants to start a life here. No one wants to start this.
So I think such kind of talks on TV station, radios, in the media, whichever media can be used, I think these are the conversations that needed to let people know the way you think things are different, totally on the ground. So that's why I ask this question, where you find people are not willing. Even the one you want to talk, I first of all, I want to thank you because I requested you and there an opportunity to talk to you. You are very willing, you are here, so you are willing to share the information that you have.
No, you see, like when someone is actually fearing media, then what they are doing is not right. You get it? But if you are able to speak, because whatever I'm saying right now, whatever I'm saying, even if you're going to hold me accountable to it, I will say it's the right thing. It's true. But if I'm not even implementing a single thing, if we have not funded groups, if we have not even trained groups, if we have not done anything as Global Refugees Network, I will not be able to speak it here.
So you will just hide.
I'll be hiding from
because the media will just interview you, ask you.
Exactly. So, but if you're doing the right thing, even if they bring for you a media at midnight, whether you're on your bed with maybe a pant, you'll be able to say, okay, what do you guys want me to say? You'll be able to speak.
Simon, as we wind up, one message to the refugee-led organizations everywhere who will be able to watch this video, one message, and also to the larger refugee community, citizen or normal citizen, and also to the actors, be it NGOs, be it government agencies, whoever has responsibility or law to help refugees make their lives better in the host countries. A message to each of them.
Okay, first to the refugee-led organization that are here in Kenya, that are in outside countries. You guys have different levels of development. Some of you have already got money. Some of you are still looking for funding. Some of you don't have the papers. If you have a paper, help those who don't have papers to also acquire papers like yours. If you have source of funding, connect other refugee-led groups. Don't compete. I repeat, don't compete. We should not compete. We should not look at each other and say, okay, I am the group that is now funded. I am the one that actually has more money, and then you go and boss around. No, don't do that. And then once also you get the money, please don't misuse that power, because there will already be like a power imbalance between you and the community members. You will be someone that has money, that has the power. Are you going to also be like blocking, like putting like a lot of restriction for people to see you? Are you also going to be that person who is going to now be sleeping around with either women or men, or are you going to be that person that is going to violate that power? I think no. Use that money for the right cause. Always account. Account for every single coin. Account for every single money that you have actually invested. If you say you're going to deliver on this, deliver on your promises. And say what you are doing. Don't come to media and say we are doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You are serving 1,000 people when you are serving 200 people. Say you are serving 200 people. People will understand. When you are a genuine person, they will always come to you and work with you. If a funder says we are going to work with this group, whether you are serving 2 people, they will still come and work with you. But when you lie and say we are serving 1,000, and then they come and find out that you are serving 50,000, that relationship is actually going to be spoiled. And
that's for ALELO's refugee organization. Then to the community of refugees.
Communities, the challenges are there. There are so many. There are so many. Just be patient. If there is a group that maybe is helping you, go and seek that help. If there is a community that you are seeing is really struggling, give them a hand. If there is a way that you can actually work together. When you are with the host communities, they are not our enemies. They are not fighting us. They are here to actually receive us. They are here to actually work with us. Continue working together. To the government that are hosting us, that are hosting refugees, we are very happy for the work that you are doing, for being hospitable, for giving us, opening your doors for us to actually come and work with you guys, to come and actually stay in these countries. You have made us the people we are today. Actually, when I went to Uganda, I was 8 years old. I only spoke my own mother tongue. But right now, I'm able to speak in English. I'm able to speak in Arabic. I'm able to actually read and write, because Uganda gave me a home. They gave me a second home. They gave me everything that I really wanted. They made me the person I am today. So thank you so much to all of you. But if we come back to your office and say, you know what, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we really want, make sure you give it to us if it is there. If it is not there, tell us it is not there. Be very open to us. We will also understand that we are all struggling. That we also have 1 million people that you are serving. That we are also like an additional to the 1 million people that you are actually serving. To the donor community, trust refugee-led groups. Trust them. Trust them. If they are not able to deliver on what they are promising to deliver, and then you can actually break that relationship. To the UN agencies, thank you so much for the work that you are doing, and we are really very happy and look forward to learning from your system, learning from the way you are running things, and also like getting inspired. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Simon, for your time.
Thank you.
I know you are in the meeting. You used a lot of energy. You are a bit busy and maybe tired, but I really thank you for this opportunity. I don't take it for granted, but this is the media of Refugees for Refugees, because we believe that refugees should access information. And I would like to take this opportunity to tell people who are watching us or who will be watching this video to come out. Refugees, maybe not even refugees, there are even people who have perception, stigma about refugees. So this will not change until you came out and speak. Give them the right information that you should carry. So if not, they will keep the wrong information or whatever. So come out like my brother here, Simon, and let's share the right information that people should take or should know about refugees. Thank you so much for your time. Hope to see you in the next time.
I wish you all the very best.
Yeah.
Bye. Good day.